Welcome commissioners, staff, petitioners, and citizens to the November 8th Mishawaka Plan Commission meeting. I'll first do the introduction of staff. On the front to the right, we have Ken Prince, our Executive Director. To my right, we have Krista Hill, Senior Planner. To my left, all the way at the end, Shad Annis, Associate Planner. Carrie Myers on my right, Administrative Planner. And Derek Spear, our City Planner, is to my left. We also have David Bent, our Legal Counsel, is in the front row to my left. Carrie, would you please call the roll?
Chris Jamrose. Murray Wynn.
Here.
Woody Emmons.
Here.
Sam Cressy.
Here.
Chris Torty.
Here.
Nick Triola.
Here.
Dale Freeman.
Here.
Kathleen White Gaddich.
Here.
Michael Portleys.
Here.
Great. So that brings us to the rules of procedure, which are up on the screens to my right and left. We'll first hear a presentation by the petitioner. For each item, we will ask those participating in the room to speak first, followed by those participating online. Those who wish to speak in favor of the request will come up, and we do all of our speaking at the microphone. And if you could please leave your name and address so we could have that for the record, that would be good. Then we'll have people that would wish to speak against the request. We'll also do a right of rebuttal where we'll accumulate all of the questions and we'll answer those questions. I'll close the public hearing. Then we'll have a commission discussion, then a commission vote. The previous minutes for October were distributed to the commissioners. Were there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the previous minutes pass. Is there a declaration of conflict of interest in any of the items on the agenda tonight? Hearing none? All right, that brings us to the first item on the agenda, which is a resolution. It is Resolution 2022-02, a resolution approving a resolution of the City of Mishawaka Redevelopment Commission, approving the amendments to the declaratory resolution and the economic development plan for the Consolidated Area Improvement Project, modifying the current Consolidated Tax Increment Financing District to create a separate project-related TIF district.
Can you tell that an attorney wrote that?
Yes, by the way I read it, yes, I can.
Mr. President, members of the commission, Ken Prince, Director of the Planning and Community Development Department. Here tonight to speak on behalf of the resolution. So as I indicated in the report, the city is looking to partner with Carden Associates to build a regional athletic facility on this property that we originally purchased as the city for the expansion of the Judy Creek well field. That when the bids came in high on that, we ended up purchasing property on the other side, which left us with this property to use. And 4 years ago, we submitted a response to an RFP for the construction of this facility on the north side of Mishawaka, and were ultimately chosen. So to cut it short, we spent about 2 hours last night before the Common Council going through the details of the project. That is not the commission's role, though. Right. The commission's role is only to approve the amendment to the tax increment financing district. And in this case, we aren't actually adding on to the district. All we're doing is creating a separate designation area within the current TIF district that elongates the time period of which time with taxes are collected within it. So right now, our consolidated TIF district expires in 2039, and with this, it would expire 25 years from the start of the capture of the increment, which is needed to pay off the bond issue that's expected for the project. To that end, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but this is kind of short and sweet. I also want to note that I apologize for calling you in for this one item, but I did ask council if it had to be done this evening, and they said yes, in order to meet the progression of the approvals that are required. So thank you all for coming in.
Sure, thank you. And thank you for enduring that meeting. I watched some of it online.
Okay.
I think you guys were here till after 10:30.
We were.
Questions for our executive planner?
No questions, but I think for the
membership here, the commissioners here, that they need to hear the whole presentation that was presented tonight. So would you please,
I will, but I'm going to read it at the next meeting, so everybody plan accordingly. I'll get the minutes from Clerk Block, and we'll do it that way.
but thank you, appreciate it.
No, thank you, Woody. And for those that didn't hear the meeting last night, there were very intelligent, and the questions that you would think for entering into a partnership and the expense associated with it. It was a good meeting last night, all the way. Ultimately, the council approved it 9-0, but not without questions, not without input, and I was just very happy or proud of the way the process worked last night. So,
Yeah, Mr. Card, Andy Card did a fabulous job. I mean, it was long.
Right.
But he was very, precise, he was very,
pointed in his answers to the
Pointed, yeah.
questions, yes.
And, and he didn't back away from any question. I mean,
Right.
He had the answers.
Yeah.
And I think the final result is when they build out there, it's going to be a fabulous facility.
Right.
And that, and he says he can build it between 10 and 12 months.
I still don't believe that. I think that he's got mayor rose-colored glasses of how quickly it takes to build.
Well, I posed that question to him, and he says, that's what we do. But I wished him luck.
I know, I just know like things like steel, and I know they were planning on ordering that ahead
Yeah.
of time, but it's a 6-month lead time before they can even start putting that out.
But he's very excited about it, about the project and building here in Mishawaka, so,
Yep.
it's like they say, build it and they shall come, so hopefully.
And I
Right.
think the interesting comment that I took from it was last night, he said that he hasn't seen a market where the projected success of it is its equal. Essentially, he said in Jacksonville, Florida was the only other donut of a hole that's not served like this area is served. So he's really hoping to get business from Chicago, that this is a much better market to draw people into. So we'll see.
Great. Any other questions for our executive planner?
Ken, I have a question, and I recognize this is not related to the TIF district that we're voting on tonight, and it probably was covered last night, but I'm just curious. In the square footage plan, it states that there is space for a tenant and also for ice rinks. I didn't see anything about ice rinks in the rest of the report.
Right, so the master plan has room for ice rinks. We asked them to include that.
Okay.
The financing of the project does not allow that to be constructed at this time. And
Okay.
when we first envisioned it, one, the interest rates were a whole lot different, and secondly, the cost of ice, they estimated to be 16 million. Last night, Andy indicated that it's now 30 million for that. This entire facility is only $38 million, and so the ice component, if it is ever constructed, will have to wait. And your other question, I'm sorry?
There was, looks like about
Oh, the
20,000
tenant
square
space.
feet for tenants.
So the tenant space is very specifically, they enter into partnerships in order to pay for the facility. They usually enter into partnerships with local hospitals. Orthopedics is big,
Okay.
and that's what that tenant space is for. So they're counting on that leasing up, entering into a partnership to honestly help pay the bills. There's the amount of revenue between the tax increment financing and the operation expense of paying the bond, they have to generate roughly $2.5 million a year that goes to pay off the debt of the facility. So that's what that goes toward.
Any other questions for our executive director? No? Thank you, Mr. Prince, for all your
you.
hard work on this.
Of course.
Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of Resolution 2022-02? Is there anybody in the room or online wishing to speak in opposition to Resolution 2022-02? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any commission discussion? Any remonstrance letters or any additional information, City Planner? Nope, then I will take a motion on Resolution 2022-02.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve, Sam and Woody.
Second, yeah.
Carrie, would you please call for the vote?
Murray Wynn,
Yes.
Woody Evans,
Yeah.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Chris Torty,
Yes.
Nick Triola,
Yes.
Dale Freeman,
Yes.
Kathleen White-Gadich.
Yes.
Michael Portlees.
Yes.
And that passes unanimously. That brings us to the next item that has requested to be withdrawn. That is petition 22-16. All those in favor of withdrawing this request, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And petition 22-16 has been withdrawn. The next item on the agenda is site plan 22-12. This applicant also requests this to be withdrawn. All those in favor of withdrawing site plan 22-12, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And site plan 22-12 has been withdrawn. Any old business?
None,
New business?
none.
Privilege of the floor discussion?
Mr. President, I apologize, but just like for the BZA, I just want to make sure everyone's aware that the dedication for this building will be held on this Friday at 4 PM, and you're all invited and welcome to attend. Thank you.
Ken, do you know how long that program will be on Friday?
The mayor said a half hour, Matt Lynch said an hour. I would guess it's somewhere in between.
Okay. I was just wondering because of the football game.
Yeah, so my understanding is the football doesn't start until 7:30 and it starts
Yeah.
at 4.
Yeah,
And-
I was just curious if,
Yeah,
you know, what.
yeah. So
how
I
long.
think you'll even have time to eat before going to the football game after the dedication, so,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Thank you. Any more privilege of the floor? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.